So we're talking about this story that is about the spying on the Trump campaign. And the fact that instead of talking about that, we're talking about Mueller, this desperate attempt to hide, for the Democrats to hide what their administration did. And the fact that the New York Times is helping them hide it, is openly saying, no, no, this was a good thing. But of course, it's an entire, it goes to an entire broader view of how the world is covered. And we know this. I mean, it's not new news, but it's important to remember just how vast it's gotten. For instance, April 22nd, the Muslim American Society Islamic Center in Philadelphia uploads a video of an Ummah Day celebration. I think Ummah means community. I think that's what it means. They put this on his Facebook page, and young children are seen wearing Palestinian scarves and singing "Glorious steeds call us and lead us to the Al-Aqsa Mosque." That's the mosque in Jerusalem that basically the Muslims claim should be theirs. They claim Jerusalem should be theirs. The blood of martyrs protects us. These poor kids, I mean, it's like being brainwashed. Take us, O ships, until we reach our shores and crush the treacherous ones. Flow, O rivers of martyrs. And they go on saying that we will chop off their heads. We will defend Palestine with our bodies. We will chop off their heads, and we will liberate the sorrowful and exalted Al-Aqsa Mosque. And they go on and say, oh, this is just, it's awful. It's child abuse. There's no question about it. Later, they apologize, saying there hadn't been enough supervision. You can see the teachers standing there. The adults are standing there. Now, you remember the Covington kids, right? The Catholic school kids who got screamed at, and how they stood there and they withstood that with dignity, smiling, trying to be friendly, and how the press went after them, okay? We remember this, and so we know that this is, you haven't heard anything about this probably. If you have, you've heard it on right-wing sites like the Daily Wire. You haven't heard about it on CNN. I don't know if they covered it at all. They certainly didn't do what they did with Covington, where they stood there and said, oh, you know, these horrible, look at the smug look on that kid's face. And once you wear a MAGA hat, that's immediately a racist thing to do, where nobody is saying, for instance, when you wear that Palestinian scarf, that's a racist thing to do. So meanwhile, over the weekend, the terrorists in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian terrorists in the Gaza Strip start shelling Israel, unleashing this absolute barrage. It's still going on, a barrage of missiles at the state of Israel, our ally, because it is a fellow free country in a region that doesn't have enough freedom in it. The Israelis hit back, and of course, what these terrorists do, I mean, it really is dreadful. What the terrorists do is they surround their guns with civilians, with women and children. So when the Israelis strike back, they use the bodies of these children and these women as propaganda. Oh, look how Israel is killing our civilians. But of course, they opened fire on a country, and I don't have to tell you that if we were somebody opened fire on us, we would respond. Now, Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, the two Muslims in Congress, unleashed this Twitter stuff where Tlaib says, when will the world stop dehumanizing our Palestinian people who just want to be free? Now, obviously, this word "our" just leaps out at you. This is an American congresswoman. How are they our Palestinian people? I mean, Israel is our ally. They're not our people. If I had to stand with America or Israel, I would stand with America 100% of the time, not 99.9% of the time. I'm an American all the way, constantly. The Israeli people are not my people, but they are our allies. How did the Palestinian people get to be our people? Why is this woman in Congress? Ilhan Omar, she said, how many more protesters must be shot, rockets must be fired, and little kids must be killed until the endless cycle of violence ends? I love the cycle of violence. It reminds me of The Lion King. They talk about the circle of life. I always tell my wife, it's not a circle of life, it's actually a semicircle. You know, she goes, wham, because it ends. Well, the cycle of violence in the Middle East is the same thing. Remove the Palestinians, and the cycle of violence is over. Right? It's only a cycle going in one direction. It's a semicircle of violence. It's like fire at the Israelis. If the Palestinians didn't fire, certainly the Israelis wouldn't fire. So it's an entire philosophy that's being put forward. You know, I think Islamic radicalism is dangerous, stupid, vile, oppressive. It's oppressive to the people. But I don't actually think that it is an existential threat. I think the left, the American left and the European left's appeasement of it is a threat. Okay, it's funny. There's this thing in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Used to be my favorite edition before I canceled Sports Illustrated for their absolute leftism. That just got on my nerves after a while. I thought, why am I giving them my money? So I canceled my subscription. I can see girls in swimsuits anywhere. So anyway, they have one girl. She's a very, very beautiful Muslim girl wearing what they call a burkini, which covers her up more. And people were attacking SI for putting this in there. But see, I think that they're making a mistake here. I mean, obviously, Sports Illustrated is just pushing their leftist line, and they're doing something hypocritical and stupid. I get that. That's true. But I don't have a problem with Muslim women being modest. I don't have a problem with, obviously those ghost outfits they put on that look like the ghost of Christmas yet to come. That's ridiculous. That is in and of itself oppressive. But covering your hair, if that is the way a woman wants to present herself, I actually respect that a lot. I think it's respectful to herself. I think it's respectful to men to present yourself in a modest way. I've got no problem with that. My problem is if she decides not to do that and they kill her. There's the picture they're putting up. Yeah, I mean, absolutely beautiful woman, covering herself up. I have no problem with that. That's not my problem. My problem is if she stops doing that, they kill her. That is the problem. The problem is the radicalism. The problem is the intolerance. The problem is the fact that a large swath of Islam has not gotten the memo about the 21st century, all right? So when they're telling us that it's not an issue that Tlaib and Ilhan Omar say these things, these anti-Israel, anti-freedom, anti-American things, and they can hide behind their color and their, as a woman of color, I know that people are going to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I think you know what you're talking about. I think you're just wrong and evil. I think that's different, and I don't think that has anything to do with your color or with your sex. But when you have a press that is now dedicated to hiding, just like with the Trump scandal, the Obama spying scandal, when you have a press that is dedicated to hiding one side and only telling one side, they may not be the enemy of the people, but they are the enemy of the news. News media, the American news media, is the enemy of the news. And in order to keep this going, ultimately, because we're going to use technology to strike back, right? We're going to start the Daily Wire. We're going to start Fox News. We're going to start places where the other voices can be heard, where other opinions can be heard. It's not good for the country to have a news media that's only on one side. So now we have a news media where we have this kind of rebel band, this rebel alliance of conservatives kind of fighting back, trying to get the news out. Ultimately, you're going to have to censor them, and that's what's happening with Facebook. Facebook and Instagram banned Alex Jones, InfoWars, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson, who's an editor for InfoWars, Laura Loomer, Paul Nealon, and Louis Farrakhan. Now, I like the fact that at the Atlantic Monthly, and I think Washington Post too, they're calling these people far right, like Louis Farrakhan, pal to the pastor Wright, who was Obama's pastor. That picture of Obama with Farrakhan palling around with him, that was suppressed because they didn't want it to affect the election. The Black Congressional Caucus has been hanging out with Farrakhan. There's no way that guy is a right-winger. So I dislike all these people. I got to be honest. I think InfoWars is an irresponsible, stupid site. I think Alex Jones is either a fraud or a crazy man. I can't tell which. I don't like the opinions of any of these people. Milo, I always hoped Milo would kind of pull it together and come back the other way, but he didn't. He's become kind of a fascist and a bigot, and I think or at least presenting himself that way, and I think it's a shame. All of them should be allowed to speak. Every single one of them should be allowed to speak. They're only dangerous when they're silenced. They keep pointing to Europe and saying, well, they silence them there. Who has a bigger problem with fascism, us or Europe? Europe does, because they silence them, because they give them power. Let them speak. We can make fun of them. We can attack them. We can argue with them, but you don't silence them. And the reason they're silencing them is to get at the rest of us. They're trying to get at Ben. That's why they keep saying Ben is an alt-right guy. He'll be the next to go. They go after everybody, ultimately, because who decides? Who decides this stuff, I mean, who decides who the right is? It's going to be the left. And as we just heard in that Wall Street Journal op-ed, they don't know anything about us. They can't tell the difference between me and Alex Jones. They can't tell the difference. So they're going to, they silenced James Woods. They threw him off Twitter. They don't know the difference because they never engage with us. They never have to, and so they don't know who we are. It's funny, Jane Coaston, the liberal writer for Vox, she has a piece out about some neo-Nazis on the alt-right, and it starts out with one of these neo-Nazis saying, we need to remain in the realm of the hip and the cool and the sexy and the fun. And I thought, yeah, that's not a plan that's going to work because you're a Nazi. You're not hip. You're not cool. You're not fun. Bring it. Let them come on. Let them try and put their opinions on. We do not want them silenced. So Donald Trump starts retweeting some of these people. Alex Jones has been a supporter of his, so he retweets some of InfoWars stuff. So let me just show you, I think it was something like International Press Day. So let me just show you Wolf Blitzer talking about the press to give you the idea of who the press thinks that they are, because they never engage with anybody who disagrees with them. This is who they think they are.
Sadly, right here in the United States, reporters who show up to do their jobs are often insulted, harassed, sometimes, as was the case of our friends at the Capital Gazette in Maryland, they're killed. And they're called the enemy of the people by the President of the United States. On this World Press Freedom Day, I'm reminded of the words of the brilliant Dallas TV anchor Dale Hansen, who recently said, "We aren't the enemy of the people, we are the people." Reporters around the world, they risk their lives to document war and risk their freedom to confront despots. We are just like you. We are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, doing our duty to shine light where there is darkness, always hoping to make it home to our families at the end of the day, just like you.
They're just like you, except Democrats. I mean, that's the difference. They're just like you, except Democrats. They want to shine the light into the darkness unless it looks bad for Democrats, okay? But that's their image. Oh, we're such heroes. We just hope we can get home safely to our wives and children. I mean, they just threatened Ben's life. They just arrested a guy for threatening to kill Ben. I mean, it's like, I'm sure, listen, I know that there are journalists who are out there in dangerous situations, but it's not dangerous to be an American journalist covering American stories. It's dangerous to go overseas where they're oppressed. But that's their idea. We're such heroes. We're just like you. Only Democrats, but we're just like you. Here's Brian Stelter, okay, reacting to the Facebook ban on people that he disagrees with, where he should be, if he really does believe in this First Amendment, if he really believes in the heroic press, if he really believes in shining light into the darkness, he should let every voice be heard. Instead, we get this about Trump retweeting some of these guys.
President Trump's furious reaction to Facebook's action showcases that he is, I'm sorry to say, the InfoWars president. He is promoting the same alternative universe as InfoWars and sharing videos from repugnant characters. Now, InfoWars, of course, is that web show and website led by rageaholic Alex Jones. Full of fear-mongering and conspiracy theorizing, InfoWars tells viewers that the world is out to get them. Jones is facing multiple lawsuits related to his lies about the Sandy Hook school massacre and the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich. But none of this seems to repel President Trump. InfoWars content is useful to him. InfoWars personalities align with him. He even gave an interview to Alex Jones back on the campaign trail. On Saturday, Trump went on a Twitter spree and said it's so great to watch this while sharing a video from InfoWars. He also repeatedly retweeted a guy named Paul Joseph Watson, one of the InfoWars figures who's been banned by Facebook.
So let's play the InfoWars video that Trump played. It is a demonstration, pro-Trump demonstration with anti-Trump protesters there. And if you're not watching, many of the people who are being interviewed are Black Americans, which I think is important because obviously the Democrats have been selling this idea that we want to put you all back in chains forever. And some people are finally waking up, including the great actor Isaiah Washington, by the way, which I'm very excited about because he was in True Crime, actually terrific actor who's joined the walkaway movement. But here's the InfoWars tape that Brian Stelter is implying that by playing this video, Donald Trump becomes linked to the stupid stuff that InfoWars was putting out about Sandy Hook. Let's listen.
He's already done so much for the country, and he's really doing a great job. As far as abortion goes, that was one of my big issues. I very heavily stand for the unborn, and so his policies as far as that goes has really, really affected me.
He is a great man for our country. I do believe so. Yes, I do. I love Trump. Go Trump! The hate is clearly over there. He's trying to give us freedom.
You can feel the vibes of hate coming from over there.
Yeah.
If you look over here, the people aren't screaming at them.
Peaceful protesting. This is not what peaceful protesting is all about. This is what they think is acceptable. This is not what Trump stands for, but they don't understand that.
Why are they mad for us believing what we believe and we're not mad at them for believing what they believe? Like, I mean, I think it's all out here to get each other out of our skin, and I love it. It's out here for entertainment purposes for me. They say because I'm black, I should be over there. And I'm not black. I don't go by black. I go by two or more races.
I can't find the hate. I've been looking for hate all day. Hate was over here with the protesters. There's been no hate in the Trump crowd.
It is a powerful video, especially because of the wisdom of the people supporting Trump and the anger of the people attacking Trump. And Brian Stelter, all he can do in his brave journalistic way is basically try what they've been trying to do to Trump from the beginning, is try to tar him with that brush instead of just telling the truth. You know, the fact that the press has abandoned us, and they've abandoned us. If the New York Times is supporting spying on, sending the FBI to spy on opponents' campaigns, they've abandoned the American idea, they've abandoned the Constitution. Because we are on our own, and that means we are going to have to be responsible. We are going to have to look at people like Alex Jones and say, no, this is garbage. This Seth Rich thing is nonsense. And it was nonsense. And I researched it to make sure, and it is, we are going to have to do that work because the press isn't doing it for us because we can't trust them anymore. But when we do that work, I think there is going to be some stuff that we're going to say, hey, you know what? The left is wrong about how to handle these problems, but it's not always wrong about the fact that problems exist. And that is going to fall on us too. It's time for us to respond. It's time for us to respond not just by saying black when the press says white, but by saying truth when the press says nothing, because nothing is the news as far as the press is concerned.